So I want to just talk about how interesting outer space is. It's frightening in a sense. I mean, I wouldn't want to, get lost there. If you ever seen any video of just something going through empty space, it kind of makes me slightly queasy. But you know, aside from that, everything is pretty interesting out there because I mean, there are objects so dense that they could bend light into themselves, like black holes. I find them so interesting. Like, the reason they're black is, well, light just can't leave them. It's kind of impressive that people, spotted them, because if you think about it, it's kind of very hard to see something that does the opposite of emitting light. Like, I would think it to be very hard to do that. But somebody out there, smarter than me, actually did that, because we have two photos, actual photos of black holes. And it's kind of weird how black holes actually work, because black holes are very simple in reality. They just only have three defining features: how massive they are, and how fast they're spinning, and how much charge they have. Very weird, because they're very similar to how very small particles work. And I may or may not be showing you an image right now, and that's how black holes look. It's probably gonna be an interstellar image, because allegedly it's a very scientifically accurate image, I tell you. Now, another thing is stars. Stars are basically the forge of the universe. Basically, we all are made of stardust, because stars are what make most elements. Like, everything that is bigger than lithium is made by a star in some way. Everything, except a few elements that humans made, but that's another story. Everything bigger than lithium, the third element, everything is made by a star. And it's kind of very similar to how forge works, where you smack the hell out of a material to make what you want. Stars are doing that, but in a celestial scale, literally just crushing two atoms, being like and it's kind of very interesting to me. Like, these stars blow up, and their remnants, whatever remains of these stars, well, it comes together to make planets. All planets that are made of rock, well, is made of stardust. Everything, like water, cement, concrete, glass, everything is just stardust. And that's special, I think. And another thing that I find very special about space is how humbling it is, honestly. Because, there's an image, you'll probably see there. It's one of the most famous images out there, the blue marble. And it's kind of very humbling to look at it, because, it makes you feel very small, because, well, that's all of us. You, me, everyone you ever know, everyone that I will ever know. That's all of them, right there. Everyone that has lived and died, everyone is in that one image somewhere. That's it makes you feel small, because, well, in the grand scheme of things, everyone's kind of small, you know. Another thing to this point is an image that Voyager 1 took way back when. It's the last image of Earth the Voyager 1 took. And in that image, there's Saturn, and there's one tiny speck way off in the distance. And that tiny speck is Earth. And to me, that's fascinating, because, that tiny speck is all of us. And honestly, I find that kind of beautiful. And, some of you may not agree, because, some of you may be flat earthers, and it's your opinion. But to me, I like to believe that, well, the earth is round. So I'm just putting it out there. Another thing is the, our universe has so many planets. There are billions of stars, in the Milky Way, and there are more planets than there are stars. So, a couple billion, maybe even a couple trillion. It's a lot. But some of them are very interesting. Some planets are big enough that they almost become stars. They're basically failed stars. That's a thing. It's kind of a pretty sad thing if you think about it. It's just a brown burning mess that couldn't quite make it. It's kind of sad. It's just kind of sad. There are planets which rain iron because of course there are like one side is hot enough that it vaporizes iron, and then that iron goes to the other side and condenses and turns into rain. It's literally how rain works on Earth. It's insane. And there are planets made of diamonds. There are planets with rings so massive that they give Saturn a run for their money. Like, these rings are huge. And stuff like that, stuff like this makes me, believe in something I heard way back when. And it was something along the lines of reality is more fantastical than, any fantasy. And I truly believe that, because even if you come down to Earth, well, we have a moon. Imagine how it got there. Like, by, from what we know, there was Earth, and it got smacked. And whatever remained of that spanking, well, that turned into the moon. And then we have Jupiter. Like, that thing looks so beautiful. I know it's made of mostly gas, but it's such a beautiful looking planet with rings circumnavigating the entire planet. Fun fact, Jupiter has the shortest day. That means it makes a full rotation in the shortest time. That means it's moving fast. Like, a Jupiter day is 10 hours. Then there are moons of Jupiter, which are interesting. Like, one of them moons got made, and after it got made, did nothing with its existence. Like, most things in the solar system tend to do makeovers. Nah, this moon just said, bruh, that too much work, bruh. I ain't doing that. Just sat there taking asteroids for 4 billion years like a champ, and just it has such a weird looking surface because it has been hit so many times that if an asteroid hits it now, it's most likely gonna hit another crater. And then another moon of Jupiter is Io. Io is basically being expanded and crushed so much that it starts pumping lava out. It produces more lava than Earth. Like, we know it makes lava, like actual molten rock. It's kind of impressive, considering it's so far away that the sun's light doesn't heat it up. All the heat comes from gravity crushing it and expanding it and crushing it again, and it just pumps it full of so much energy that it starts, ejecting in the form of volcanoes. And it's the most volcanic place, in the solar system. Now, another planet we got is Saturn. It got beautiful rings, but another thing is, on top of Saturn, there's a hexagon made of gas. Like, there's a blue hexagon that's been there for a real long time, and it's made of gas. It's not solid. Like, we got basalt hexagons on Earth. It's literally gas making a geometric shape. It's and then you got Uranus. Uranus is very interesting planet because it's the only planet that's basically the entire solar system has a plane. It sits basically in line with each other, and every planet has its own axis of rotation, a line around which it rotates. In Uranus case, the line is 90 degrees from, plane of the solar system, which means this planet literally it fell over. In a sense, it just fell over, and that's how it's spinning. And then we have Neptune, which it has the fastest wind speed, I guess. We don't know really that much about Neptune. And a sad thing is, brace for impact. But Neptune's color, yeah, that's a scam. It's a much lighter color. The original color that you have probably seen a lot, that's not how Neptune looks. It's just been boosted. Like the original mission, Voyager 1 boosted the colors of Neptune so that, you could see detail. It is the same color as Uranus, but coming back around, we got Venus, the second planet. It's the second planet, so it's further than Mercury, but still, it's the hottest planet. It's hot enough to melt tin. Like, it's real hot. It's 400 degrees C-ish, give or take. It's pretty hot there. Like, it's basically hell. Like, all planets have the sun rising from the east and setting to the west. Yeah, that's not the case in Venus. On Venus, the sun rises from the west and it sets on the east. It's the exact opposite. The air, mainly carbon dioxide, but it's so thick that it acts like a liquid. And, there's sulfuric acid everywhere. Because of course there is. And of course there's lava everywhere, because of course there is. Why wouldn't there? The lava releases sulfur, which reacts to create sulfuric acid, which probably rains on there. As I said, as close to hell as we got, like our own hell. And Mercury is another planet which is very fascinating, because Mercury, it got the same gravity as Mars. It's pretty dense. It's made of mostly metals. And fun fact, it is the closest planet on average to every other planet in the solar system. Like, the Mercury is a planet which is close to them throughout their entire year. Closest for the longest. And that is true for every planet from Venus to Neptune. Every single planet. And, we have our Earth, which I'm not talking about because, well, you can go outside. You know how beautiful it is. It's time to appreciate every other celestial object that I can fit into a couple of minutes of yapping. And we got Mars. Mars is mostly made of rust. That's why it got that red color. It's just rusted over. And fun fact, all planets, I'm pretty sure you know this, but every planet except Earth is named after a Roman god. Earth just means, pretty sure, dirt or something. Anyways, the Romans named the planets, and those names got transferred down to us, and we just went along with it. And I'm pretty sure that's why the concept that the sky is heaven comes from, because, well, gods reside in heaven, so sky is heaven. And that's why they probably named the planets after these gods. And so these planets are just a small fraction of what there is out there. Just the tiniest sample. Because there's so much more out there. Like, what we can't even imagine exists out there. Somewhere. Probably. I think. And for me, it's not based in any logic or reasoning. I think the universe is, infinite in size. Because I think it's fun to imagine that. Honestly, it doesn't really matter is or isn't. It's just very interesting to think if it is, because that would basically guarantee that life exists out there somewhere. And so there's one more wannabe planet that I have to talk about. It's Pluto. And Pluto used to be a planet. It ain't now. And I'm pretty sure most of you know that. It also looks very beautiful because it's snow white with red patches around it, and it has a heart on it. It's such a beautiful planet, honestly. all of the planets, we got 8 planets, plus minus, and all of them are fascinating. And of course, there are other planets out there, exoplanets, as they say, and all of them are equal or even more fascinating. And now I want to talk about neutron stars. Neutron stars are another thing that's very interesting because it's the second densest object there is, and they are very weird because there's are basically just one giant nucleus is what they are. They're made of, for the most part, pure neutrons, like with a few protons. They are just one giant nucleus. That's what they are. It's kind of very weird how they're made up. And another thing that arises from this is they, when spinning, create giant jets of plasma which beam out into the universe. This same thing happens with black holes, but when this happens with black holes, them beams be celestial. Them beams, they be big. Like another thing that happens with black holes is quasars. These things push material 300 light years in both direction. That's insane. In 1 light year is how much distance light covers in a year. And light is moving fast. Light can cover the entire circumference of the earth 7 times in a second. Imagine how much distance that is. That's insane. Like, this is why black holes are insane and very interesting. Is they're the most powerful thing we know, and that's what makes them insane. And then we have, the future of our sun, which is white dwarfs, which are pretty simple. They're made of mostly they're actually pretty similar to neutron stars, as in they are kind of nucleuses in a sense, but not really. And yeah, this video is getting way too long, so yeah, that's about it from me. Bye.